The Mental Health Association has programs that help more than just adults. It has programs that help children and teens as well. Brad Luthe is one of those who uses those services, and because of the help he's received, he's dedicated his life to helping others who may be facing the same obstacles he is.
He was diagnosed at 4 with bipolar and ADHD.
The first time Brad Luthe tried to kill himself, he was only 6 years old.
Him and the other kids were riding their bikes on the sidewalk. Well, he darted out in front of a car just as my sister went out the door, and he said, I'm not happy here anymore. I want to go live with Jesus. And as a mother of a 6-year-old child, that's something that I can't even to this day explain to you the overwhelmingness that I felt.
He made another suicide attempt a few years later during his brother's birthday party.
And so I took a knife and I held it to my chest and I said, "Mom, I'm going to kill myself." Instead of getting the attention that I wanted, I got sent to the psychiatric hospital, and so that wasn't that fun.
I was going to say, I don't think I'd try that again.
From the age of 6 to 9, I had 4 hospitalizations.
At the age of 7, Brad started using the Mental Health Association's programs, and that just may have saved his life. His mother, Sherri, says she's seen amazing changes in him.
We had the full array of services from the Mental Health Association. We had case management, attendant care, psychosocial groups that taught him social skills. We've had in-home therapy, medication management. It was hard because he had some real challenging behaviors. At school, he had suspensions, and it was really getting tough. His emotions were out of control.
Especially when other kids made fun of him.
I hated being the person, whenever I was little, that everybody, picked on. And I don't want that to happen for the other people in the upcoming generations.
That's what got him the suspensions. It wasn't that he was a mean kid. It was kids just taunting him constantly.
Which should make people think twice before they pick on someone who's different than they are.
Because every time they pick on us, it gets harder for us.
Do people still pick on you?
There are kids who will still pick on me, but never for mental health reasons. Most people at my school don't even know I have a mental illness till I say it. They think that I'm crazy at times, but then again, who isn't crazy at times?
Brad is now 16 and has the wisdom of someone twice his age.
There's always going to be those people out there who are going to make fun of you. So the thing is just don't listen to them and just go on with your life, because life is short and you live it to the fullest.
But he's learned a lot of calming techniques now. He teaches other kids how to calm themselves down.
It's not just how to calm down. He's teaching kids a lot of other important skills as well. He created this PowerPoint presentation called Anti-Stigma to teach people what it's like to have a mental illness.
I give it to people who have mental illnesses, people who don't have mental illnesses, and also the people who work with people who have mental illnesses. I don't want to hide it from anybody. I want people to know. In fact, because if they know, then they're not afraid to say, I know a person who has it and he's not that out of place.
Part of Brad's presentation focuses on famous people who have mental illnesses like Drew Carey, Jim Carrey,
Mark McGuire, and Charlie Pride. And
Brad says he hopes making people aware of successful people who have this disease will help end the stigma.
The more people know about something, the less they are afraid of it. And if you're afraid of it, then you want to make fun of it.
Sherri says that presentation has received some pretty surprising responses.
At the end, he had 4 kids identify as having a mental illness that the teacher didn't even know about.
After you give a PowerPoint presentation and somebody comes up to you and says, "You changed my life," it feels like my heart melts. It's just so overwhelming and just so happy, and it's just a great moment.
Because of Brad's bravery in speaking out about what it's like to be mentally ill, he's been appointed to the Governor's Mental Health Planning Council and has even spoken during a convention in Washington, D.C. Brad's illness led his mother, Sherri, to make a difference as well. She now has a job at the Mental Health Association, where she can help other families who may be dealing with the same thing.
I don't believe in stigma. You know what? If he had cancer, I wouldn't be ashamed of it. He didn't ask for mental illness. I didn't ask for it for him. We deal with it. He shouldn't be ashamed of it.
Sherri says the hardest part for her was the judgment other people passed on her parenting skills, especially when he would act up in a store.
As parents, you get all the comments. If that were my kid. If that were my kid, I'd spank his butt. If that were my kid, I'd do this. If that were my kid. And if you respond to that like you want to, then they say, oh, I see where they get it from. It's bad enough to try to get them out of the store when they're in a rage, let alone having everybody's opinion on top of it.
But seeing him now, Sherri says it was all worthwhile.
It's really inspiring to see how far he's come and how he's been able to help you.
As rough as it got sometimes, and as challenging as it can still be, Brad always tries to see the positive side.
I wake up every day telling myself that that there are advantages to it, but whenever it gets down to it, you know, you always wonder what it would be like if you never had it at all. But I always try to look up and say, you know, it's not going to go away, so I'll find an advantage and use it to my advantage.
And to the advantage of others.
You know, I look back and I think of all the trials that we've been through and how far we've come, and although I wouldn't wish that on anyone, I think that the outcome for him and myself has been one of which we can help other people not have to go through some of the things that we did when we were alone.
Would you trade not having this mental illness?
No, probably not. Never. No, because I like where I am today, and I believe God put me in the place where I am today because He meant to. And if He wanted me to be normal, I would have been normal in the first place. If He wanted me to do this, this is where I am, and this is where I'm going